Punch. Key. Punch key. Look at that. So what's a punch key? What's that funny Polish word that you clicked on with that delicious picture of donuts? Well, you figured it out already. It's a donut. It's a jelly donut. It's covered in sugar. You can cover it in glaze. You can do all kinds of things. I'm making these and they're absolutely delicious. But what is a punch key and why does it exist? Well, Lent, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's the 40-day period between Ash Wednesday and Easter. It's the 40 days before Easter. You're supposed to give up something. I usually give up organized religion. But the Thursday before Lent is Fat Thursday. You've heard of Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. We're Polish, we're special, we do it different. We have Punchki Day, which is Fat Thursday. And these are what we make. They're absolutely delicious. They're fun to make, even more fun to eat. Absolutely delicious. That's what we're making. So let's get it done. We got to bloom our yeast first. 1 cup of milk heated between 100 and 110 degrees. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, regular sugar. We're going to get a little whisk, and we're going to mix that thoroughly. We're going to dissolve as much of that sugar as we can, because that sugar is going to help feed the yeast. There we go, 20 grams active dry yeast. Get it mixed, get it moist. We want this to bloom up nicely. And this is what we need to do. So mix it thoroughly, and then once it's nice and mixed, we're going to set it off to the side, let it bloom for about 10 minutes. Now, while that's blooming, we're going to start by creaming our sugar and our butter. So 50 grams of granulated sugar and 4 tablespoons of butter that's been softened to room temperature. Very important, it's got to be softened. Get it mixing, scrape down the sides as needed. It's going to get light, it's going to get fluffy. Give your yeast mixture a nice stir because it's going to have a nice firm head on it. And then we're going to add this in to the bowl. And we're just going to whisk it together, let it mix. Now we have 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. Drop them in one at a time, let it mix, drop the next one in, just like that until it's all in. You don't want to just dump it in. 1 tablespoon of high quality vanilla extract, always high quality. Now this is very important. 1 tablespoon of vodka, preferably Polish vodka because we do it better. Or if you can find Spirytus, which is like 110 proof or better. You add that. Once that's all mixed together, change to your dough hook, and we're going to add 600 grams of all-purpose flour, about 1/4 cup at a time. You don't want to dump it all in. Add 1/4 cup, let it mix, add more, and keep going until you have a nice tacky dough, just like that. The machine's doing all the work. You're just adding stuff to it and just keeping an eye on it, so it works out so nicely. Makes it almost effortless. Now I'm making a double batch, so I'm changing to a different bowl so I can make another batch, but you can leave it in that mixing bowl, just cover it, and we're going to let it rise in a warm place for about 30 minutes. So I spritz that bowl with a little cooking spray. I'm going to stick it. I like to stick it in my microwave that's above my stove because it's always warm with the light on. That's how I do it. You do you, boo-boo. Now once it's risen for that 30 minutes, we're going to turn it out onto a lightly floured work surface. See, it's a little tacky, it's not too bad. Make sure you got flour in your hands, flour the top. Now you need to portion this out into 12 portions. You can cut it and eyeball it, or what I like to do is I will weigh that whole dough baby in grams. Gotta be in grams. Grams are more accurate. And then I'll divide by 12 and, that's what I'll weigh it out to. It's simple math. And you have a calculator on your phone, which you're probably watching this on anyway. So, hey, while you're watching this, just hit that subscribe button. Why not? Now, once you have it portioned out, what we're going to do is roll these into some tight balls, just like that. So on the tabletop, constant pressure, you're going to roll them all out into balls. Now we're going to cover those and stick them back into the area to let them rise for about 10 minutes or so. Doesn't take that long. After that rise, we're going to press them down with the bottom of a glass. I'm using a coffee mug that's got a snowman on it because it's festive. And all you want to do is kind of just press it down into a disc shape. Don't worry about that ring. That's going to go away. Just press them down into discs. Now we're going to cover them again, and we're going to let them rise for another 10 minutes. Now after that 10 minutes, it's time to go in the bath. So enough oil for them to float. Heat it up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Use a neutral flavored oil. Don't use olive oil. These cook up super fast. We're talking like a minute to 2 minutes tops per side. And they're done. It's that super quick. Once it's nice and golden, we're going to flip them over. Now, one thing that vodka does is it helps give it a nice dark color, which is what we want. I kind of let these go. I flip these a little early. That's okay. You can flip them back. And look at that. Look how brown and crisp that is on the outside. It's doughy and beautiful and airy on the inside. It's not doughy and airy. It can't be the same thing. Okay, so it's fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside. Now, we're going to do this in batches. So while the second batch is starting to cook, we're going to toss the first batch while they're still hot in granulated sugar. Just like that. You want to get them coated, put them onto the rack. And then continue this process going back and forth, cooking and coating until all of your Paczkis are done. Look at that. They're all done. Now it's time to fill them. Filling them is the most fun and possibly challenging part. The most important thing that I could stress to you is make sure you're using jam that doesn't have chunks of fruit if they can't pass through the nozzle. Ask me how I know. I'll tell you how I know. I tried using some blueberry jam that had chunks of blueberry in it. It clogged the nozzle and I had an explosion. You don't want that. So fill them, then kind of turn them and sit them with the whole side up. Just like that. You can feel when they're starting to fill up. You don't want them to burst, so be gentle. And we're going to repeat this process with all of our Paczkis. Now you can use, I'm using raspberry, you can use any flavor jam you want, but it's got to be smooth jam or smooth enough to fit down your nozzle. If you don't have a pastry piping setup like this, they are very cheap on the Amazon. I suggest you get them. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, these are so good. It's so, we should have Lent all year round. Anyway, let's stuff these in our face. So here we go. The Paczki. Beautiful, sweet, delicious. You always have to eat it from this end first. Why? Because that's the rule. Because I said so. These are so good. There you go. Look at that. Something wrong with you guys. And I love you for it. So there you go. Paczkis. Absolutely delicious. Totally worth the effort. Make them this Thursday. And if you're watching this after, you should make them this Thursday anyway because, hey, they're delicious and they're not only for Fat Thursday. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Drop it down there. If you got a story about growing up Polish and having Paczkis, drop that down in the comments. You want to see me make something? You got a suggestion? Drop that down in the comments. You want to tell me I suck? Drop that down in the comments too. Why not? But please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. I very much appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. To quote President John F. Kennedy, I am a jelly donut.